Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Jamie Bell from Workshop, VP of Marketing with them. How are you doing today, Jamie?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. And well, it's a pleasure to have you on and to our listeners as well. And I'm sure they're tuning in, wondering what Workshop is all about. So let's kick it off with that, Jamie. In your own words,
Yeah.
tell us.
Yeah, you bet. The Workshop is a email platform that's built specifically for internal communication. So it's kind of like if MailChimp had a bunch of employee-facing features and like superpowers, but essentially we just make it really easy for comms, HR, marketing departments to send really beautiful segmented emails and track the results of those sends. And you can integrate with the other comms channels that you might be using too. So Slack, SharePoint, Teams, kind of all that good stuff.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. They got a lot of companies out there who would want something like this. And so that way our listeners who are tuning in could get a good understanding of Workshop. What would you say is some key problems that you guys like to solve them for clients?
Sure. So we do a lot with just kind of focus on internal communication. So we're working on the creating, sending, managing, and measuring of all of your internal comms, specifically within email. Overall, we have kind of a lot of focus on newsletters and all company sends, but really we've seen a lot of great adoption with like cross-department emails and things like that too. So yeah, we're kind of working on just making it really easy for internal communicators to do their jobs and track the results.
That's okay. Awesome. Great to hear. And on that note, then, is there a certain vertical segment? Is there an ideal ICP for Workshop?
Yeah, so Workshop's kind of been unique, especially for me as a marketer, because it's been almost entirely industry agnostic. I mean, really any company that's over 200, 250 employees can find a lot of value in something to help kind of manage their internal communications, whether that's employee newsletters or like sending out specific info about like employee benefits information and just seeing how kind of employees are engaging with that. But we do have a lot of customers that are in food and beverage, manufacturing, healthcare, finance, and then we've got like an SMS add-on too. So for companies that have kind of frontline or deskless employees, we have options for them to reach them too.
Okay, great. Awesome. Great to hear that. And how would then some of these clients, industries usually find out about Workshop? Is there a top client acquisition channel for you guys?
Yeah, so we have a lot of content marketing and sort of event and demand gen as well. Newsletters, templates, webinars, conferences, and maybe like a sprinkle of paid advertising. We have a newsletter that we send every Monday. It's called the Happy Monday Club. It's 5 really positive, really practical articles about the world of work and comms and culture, just kind of kickstart your week on the kind of right note. We also have a lot of really practical internal communication resources and templates that you can download and customize for your own strategy. Those are discovered, through organic search, and then we kind of amplify them in paid as well. We also host a monthly webinar on any kind of sort of pop trend or topic in internal communications, and we get over 1,000 registrations for those every single month. And then as far as like actually acquiring meetings and kind of demo requests and that kind of thing, we really love connecting with customers in person at conferences. And then we do some paid advertising for some of those like bottom of the funnel software tools type keywords.
Awesome. All right. Great to hear that. And talking about some conferences there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that you guys are going to be hosting your own.
Yes, yeah. So we've done a lot of like kind of conferences where we're sponsors with a booth and all that good stuff. And those have done super well for us, but we're really excited. This fall we'll be having our own internal communications conference here in Omaha called Brightside. We'll have about 100 guests for a 1-day event. And yeah, it's our first time doing our first like big event from start to finish. So it's going to be a career highlight for me too.
Definitely a lot of planning, a lot of managing, but it's the upsides at the end, right? So that's great
Yeah.
to hear. Up there.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so that way our listeners for tuned in, you could go ahead and visit you guys. You could always check them out at useworkshop.com. What role then does the website play for client acquisition, Jamie?
Yeah. So our workshop is entirely built on inbound marketing. So our website's pretty much everything. We have a really solid session to contact rate. I think it's at about 4.5%. So we're really happy with that. And yeah, I feel like it's really, yeah, all of our content is housed there. All of our conversions, it's pretty much everything.
Definitely important. And well, on that note, then, is there any tools or tips or methods that you would recommend to our listeners as far as the website lead generation?
Yeah. Overall, like as far as our templates, those have done really, really well for us. For me, it's kind of like, what's the modern reason that someone wants to give you their email address? Like the gated ebook doesn't feel quite right, but a downloadable, customizable type template has been something that's performed really well for us. We can get it in a Google Doc. They can get it in a PDF. They can get it in a Word doc. So they're able to like pick kind of the format that they want that template in. So that's been really nice. And then the other thing I'm really passionate about as far as demand gen goes is that we don't have any hurdles for the buyer. So they can see our starting price and they can book a meeting for that demo on the calendar right away. There's not like a long qualifying process. They can select the time that they want straight up in the moment.
All right. Awesome. Great to hear that then. Thank you so much for sharing that with our listeners. And well, let's switch gears then a little bit, Jamie, and let's talk about you as a leader. You being the VP of marketing there from Workshop, what are some key tasks you like to focus on your day-to-day work?
Yeah, so we have a team of 5 right now, and so it's a lot of kind of team management, project management, overall marketing strategy. I feel like I'm constantly just prioritizing and reprioritizing projects for everybody, running through reviews and just kind of offering feedback along the way. And really, I mean, we're still a startup and still a small team, so I'm also filling in kind of anywhere that's needed. So that might be spinning up a new ad campaign, or it might be writing a blog post.
That's all right. Great to hear. That sounds like you have everything balanced there. So that's great to hear from you, Jamie. Yeah. And in that meantime, right, when you're doing your daily work, how do you stay up to date with all the marketing trends, strategies that are coming about? Is there a preferred channel that you like to stay up to date in the marketing world?
Yeah, my commute to work is like an hour now. With like daycare drop off. So I have learned to love podcasts, including this one. And so I always like kind of looking for new things there. And then I find a lot of really practical advice just from other marketers on LinkedIn. I really enjoy kind of keeping an eye out for that, but it's been a little bit more bite-sized.
Definitely. I would totally agree with you, right? Like whenever you get that little time to listen to something, I think that's the best time. So awesome to hear that from you, Jamie. And well, let's jump into our next section here, Jamie, which is our rapid fire question rounds. Are you ready for them?
Yeah.
Awesome. First off then, Jamie, what is the last book that you read?
The last book I read was I'm in a monthly book club. And the last one that was picked, I didn't pick it, but it's called Stiff, and it's The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers. It was pretty morbid. I don't know if I would totally recommend it, but the author was a great writer. I think I want to read some of her other work. It was a very dark book, though.
Definitely. It's something that you picked, but it was there. Right? That's it. Okay. Great read there for our listeners to pick up. Well, next up then is, what is one single thing then that Workshop is focused on at the moment the most?
Oh, that's a great question. I think right now we're really focused on kind of scaling. We're moving into a new office, and yeah, we're at a point now where we're moving past 50 employees, and so we're just kind of figuring out like org structure and kind of looking at what's the next thing in all of these areas that will help us continue to grow. So it's kind of like a mixed bag, but it's a good spot to be in. And we've raised a Series A, so we're right there.
Definitely, that's really nice. Very great to hear that from you guys. Then next is, if there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
I think data analysis would probably be mine. So if I could just have some way to ask like what worked really well and didn't work really well in the last day or week or month without having to like swim through all of that myself, that would be amazing.
Definitely. I think for marketers, right? I think that's super important. That's how you get measured. So it's either it's working, is it not? And at the end, right, if it's not a precise yet, but hopefully there's something out there that can help everybody out there. Awesome.
Yeah.
Next set is, if there's one repetitive task that you could automate, what would that be?
Laundry would be my personal answer. And then as far as kind of marketing goes, this is kind of silly, but we launched a new feature that in Workshop that tells you or like allows you to update a link even if it's broken, even after you've sent the email. And I don't have that ability in my marketing email tool. And I would love to know, like, I hate sending that like, oops, wrong link email. So some way for me to be able to see and like automate like checking of links and let me know like, oh, hey, you didn't update that link, or like that link is broken, just like simple stuff. Yeah, we have it for internal emails, but we don't have it for external. So I'm missing it.
Definitely. Okay, great. And lastly then, Jamie, I mean, you have a lot of experience already in the marketing world, but what is that one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
I think the one like phrase that has stuck with me in the last few years is just everything is temporary. So I would tell, I think, my younger self just not to get really wrapped up into one particular job at one particular place. There's a lot kind of out there in the world, and you don't need to have like your entire identity wrapped up into one specific thing.
Some great advice, definitely, right? I think when we're young, it's a lot different than once we get that experience. So awesome to hear that from me. Thanks so much for sharing that, Jamie. And well, I do want to thank you for being on the show with us today. But before we do end, Jamie, I do want to give you the last word. So if someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about Workshop?
Just that internal communications is a focus that really pays off in spades, especially for marketers, and just like having that little thought, like, what are we doing as a company for internal communications? Could it be better? Could we be tracking it? Could we be improving it? And like, what's that potential lift?
There, you guys heard it, right? You could always check them out. Use workshop.com. Make every internal email a great experience. Jamie, thank you so much for being on with us today. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm looking forward to our next episode at Pathmonk Presents. Thanks a lot, Jamie.
Thank you.